Masters Club of Storytellers.
This meeting is being recorded.
My name is Mohit Sani and I'm the club sergeant at arms. My main role is to maintain order in the club meetings. Let's start with some energy. Let's have a round of applause. All right. So, as you all know, in Toastmasters Club of Storytellers, we put a lot of emphasis on storytelling. And storytelling is only possible if there is good writing that is done. So, we also focus a lot on writing skills. So, just this last week, we've had a number of stories that have been published on our website. And I think all of us being members already know, but I would encourage you above to check out our website and look at the stories that we publish. In particular, one story which Toastmaster Ankan published last week was very touching for me personally. The name of the story is Students 11. And in this story, Ankan talks about his college journey where he wanted to create a cricket team. And particularly in that story, one thing that stands out for me is when Ankan opened up to a fellow college student and shared with him the disappointment of not being able to participate in cricket. So it was at that point when Ankan opened up, was when this other friend of his also opened up and said that he was in the same boat. He was passing through a similar experience as well. And that led to a series of events, eventually helping Ankan and his friend to form a team of their own. He calls it the team of the leftovers. So the point is, and why this particular incident stood out for me is because we at times hold back in sharing our innermost feelings. But it is only when we start sharing those feelings, only when we start expressing ourselves, is when we realize that the magic begins to happen. They say trust requires vulnerability. So you have to be vulnerable in sharing your feelings for you to open up, and then you will realize that the magic will begin to happen. And at this point, I'm sharing this story. Why? Because it's time for renewals at Toastmasters Club. Don't hide behind uh, uh, a veil. Open up. Here's this community of like-minded people, people who are going through similar challenges, similar experiences like you. Come forward, join this community, and become a part of this beautiful club called Toastmasters. And in Toastmasters Club of Storytellers, our emphasis is on storytelling, which will help you in opening up and sharing your stories, which will be the starting point for the magic to begin. All right, I would like to share the mission of the Toastmasters Club. That is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every individual member has the opportunity to develop oral communication and leadership skills, which in turn foster self-confidence and personal growth. A couple of ground rules before we kick the meeting off. First of all, sex, politics, and religion are sensitive topics. So if you are using them, try to be extra careful, handle these subjects delicately. Secondly, I would encourage you to participate as much as possible in the meeting. Stay unmuted if you can, keep your video on, do everything possible so that you can participate and uh, take the take the most back from this meeting that we're going to have today. And thirdly, our Toastmasters community is known to laugh a lot, clap a lot, and smile a lot. So let's do that throughout the meeting today. And now I would like to invite our president for her opening address, Toastmaster Mehak. She's a BCom honors student at Delhi University. Just today, Her Toastmasters journey has been published in Humans of District 41. Let's unmute ourselves and let's give her a thunderous round of applause. Toastmaster Mehak Kapoor.
Thank you so much, Sergeant Kakams, for such a warm welcome. Greetings to members and guests. I'm the president of the club. Well, starting with, I would like to welcome our guests and the members for our 113th meeting of Toastmasters Club of Storytellers. Before moving ahead, first, I would like to invite the guest on stage to have a warm introduction. So first, I would like to invite our guest, Toastmaster Weber, to please give a small introduction about himself.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for letting me in. I am Vaibhav, and I am an entrepreneur from Delhi, and I am building businesses in the e-commerce and the crypto side of things. And on the side, I am also a part of an initiative called Gita for Visionaries, where we reach out to billionaires and ask them to study Gita and impact the life of several people. So this is a small introduction for myself.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Weber, and all the best for your speech today. Next, I would like to invite our guest, potential Toastmaster Kiran, to please give a short, brief introduction about herself. I think she's facing some network issues. Okay, let's move ahead then. So starting with, I would want to share a storytelling tip today with all of you that goes like this. That we, in a recent magazine, I read that there are 5 topics that you can write upon in just 2 minutes. So now, first I would like to give this as an activity to all of you. So I would want the timer to please take a note of 2 minutes, and I would give one word. And of that one word, you have to write us anything about that one word. So starting with the word today that I'm giving is a mint. A mint. So now you have to write anything that you feel about the mint for about 2 minutes, and timer please flash a card or let me know. Yes, Weber, it's mint. You can let me know that the 2 minutes are up. Okay, I have time because I think 2 minutes are up now. So, every one of you, have you written something about the topic that I gave? Who would want to share what you have written or want to share anything about the topic? Ankan, do you want to share?
Yeah, first I wrote central bank seeks permission of government to mint new currency and it's dangerous proposition. And another sentence is let's see what a mint of mine can do to a breath. So,
Okay, that's brilliant. Anyone else who would like to share something that they have written about the topic mint?
So what I've written is a mint is something refreshing, something that makes us feel fresh just by reading it. A minty life is what many of us aspire to get, full of energies and refreshing stories. When it comes to storytelling, a minty approach is actually to describe without filters, just by keeping the ideas in center, whatever we want to speak about.
Yes, absolutely perfect, I think. Anyone else who would like to share?
I can share that
Yes.
I recently watched Fuzzy. I don't know if you've seen it or not. So watching Fuzzy, I've been inspired by how if we had a way to mint currency of our own, how it would change our lives. Maybe we would have a lot of riches of the world, vacations, cars, private jets, whatever, right? But at the end of it all, how does it change my life, right? I enjoy writing, I like speaking, I like reading, and none of that requires me to have so much money. So end of the day, mint for me is not all that great proposition.
Well, that was amazing. I think you shared your personal story in it. Okay, so now I think it's a chance for Toastmaster Deepti as well.
I only wrote 2 sentences, and the first one says, I like keeping a box of mint candies in my purse because they come in handy. And the other one I wrote was that I love to try different flavors of mint, whether it's double mint or it's a peppermint. That's about it.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for sharing your beautiful insights about whatever you wrote. Now I would share the observation here. So all of you wrote something about mint. Being it any in the general sense, you wrote that what is a mint? I want to have a mint, or something related to a flavor. In the other sense, someone wrote about how they have connected mint to a storytelling, or how that mint was being used in one of the web series Fuzzy. Like how they combined their personal story with mint. So the observation here and the goal here is that keep on your working on your imagination, not pass the judgment on what you write. This is just a warm-up activity when we are writing, or when we are writing any article or going ahead with any of the storytelling skill. Most of the time, we're not pumped up with ideas in our mind itself. Sometimes we're not able to find the perfect idea to write a story. Well, this is the technique. When you're not able to find an idea, go ahead with these warm-up activities. Write about anything that you find in your surroundings, and just write a small paragraph and take 2 minutes only to write up on that. Maybe just the topic I gave was mint. You can write about anything. So that is a regular session on writing, and how this is one of the activities that have also been conducted in the writing sessions that usually people conduct. I just gave only one topic, but there is a list of 5 topics with me that you can write in those 2 minutes. So 5 into 2, 10 minutes. So in those 10 minutes, you can write about in those 5 topics. So you can see that these are the ideas that help you to brainstorm on the particular way that you want to write a story when you are not able to get on what topic you want to write something on. So this was the storytelling tip that I wanted to share with you all today. Now, as we are done with the introduction of the guest, I would officially welcome all of you to our Hungry Gang 13th meeting and start over with the theme for the meeting today. The theme for the meeting is visuals. The visual technique or the magic of visuals and the magic that has been shared in the visual storytelling as well. You remember the time when we used to read the books in our childhood, when we used to have there was just used to be one line written and more than half a page of that book used to contain a visual or a picture. The line was not really descriptive, but that picture was descriptive enough. Remember the time when there was just one line written, the fairy godmother appeared, and there was a picture of the fairy godmother with the horse, with every equipment that the Cinderella used. So at that time it was being used to provide a sense of visual to the children so that because they were not able to read, so that they could understand through the image or through the description that has been provided in those visuals. The fact here is that through the visuals, we are able to process what the thing that is being written. We are able to process 60,000 times faster than the text when a visual has been shown. So let's do a small activity. I will share my screen and will show a picture. You have to give maybe a small description about that picture, or maybe share a small story like what that picture describes. So here I'm sharing my screen. This is the first picture. I hope you're able to see everyone, my screen. Okay, so anyone who would like to give a description about this
Yes.
picture? Okay, so please show a raise of hand so that I can see. Anyone who would like to give a small description? Okay, I see Toastmaster Deepti raising her hand. Yes, please go ahead.
So I see a regular office day in this picture. People are either working solo on their own desks. There are others who are involved in some decision making, some group discussion kind of a thing. And otherwise, it looks a busy day at work.
Yes, absolutely correct. It's just a description of an office. Just through the visuals, but you are able to clearly see that all the things, that it's an office, like you were able to interpret and judge that it's a picture of an office. I'm going to show you the next picture, and I want someone else to give a brief about this picture. Please show a raise of your hand so you want to give a big description of this one.
A vacation. That's the description.
Yes, you can describe it in few more words, Ankan.
Yeah, it's just a place where you can relax and find calm.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, Toastmaster Vaibhav, do you want to say something?
Yes, she is Meera actually.
Thank you. So could really see it's a sunny day, and probably it could be Bali as well. And looking at the visual, it reminds me of summer, and it evokes the feeling to swim, be free from all the stress, and be in the beach with your loved ones, perhaps.
Yes, thank you. Well, okay, so now I'm going to show you the last and the final picture. This one. Now, any one of you would like to give a short description about this one? Okay, go ahead, Vaibhav.
So this reminds me to close the doors on Friday because here Messi market is here and Meera runs away for shopping. It's a lot of chaos to bring her back.
Well, yes, absolutely true. It's one of the areas in Delhi itself that shows a market that's put on every weekly market, and it shows a kiosk. Okay, so now I'm going to share what were the activity was being done. But before sharing that, what was the observation related to this, I would like to read a particular text so that make you understand that why visuals and why the text and the visuals have a separate impact on our minds. So starting with an office scene typically consisting of a workplace or a room where people work on a regular basis. The room may be furnished with desks, chair, cabinets, computers, telephone, and other necessary equipment. In this particular picture that we just saw, there was an office setting, people work independently in their groups. There was one group that they were talking, and there was one girl. She was not able to perform her job very effectively, so she asked for her manager to help her out in the particular course or the problem that she was facing. She got many visitors for her office. She was answering phone calls and manager schedules as well. Now, this was the brief information that I gave, and the other information of that office scene that you just saw. What was more effective? Any answers?
Yeah, the image or the photo.
Yes, absolutely true. That will you may get after this meeting is over, you will remember the image, but you will never remember what I shared with you, what I shared in a sense that who was the girl, whether it was a girl or a boy, you won't remember, you won't be remembering it. But you will definitely remember what was the image, how many people, and you will actually remember that where they were sitting as well. So, like visuals have a great impact on our minds. They create an image, a visually image in our mind is being created. But when we are reading just a text, we're not able to comprehend it more clearly and we're not able to give a full description when the text is being written. So it's good when we put an image so that we can relate it to that image as well. That's where visuals play a very important role. Well, going back, I had one of my teachers, she wrote in the blackboard once, she was explaining something. So she wrote a full paragraph on the blackboard itself. We were not able to get what she was trying to say or she was trying to say to us. So what she did was she made a letter B on the blackboard. And afterwards, she made us realize that I cannot teach you what is in the book. I might write the whole book on the blackboard, you will not be able to understand. But this letter B that I have written on the blackboard, you will still remember this after you have completed the school, after you are grown up, and you will still remember this letter B, and you will remember that where it has actually been placed. That is the power of visuals. We might not remember what was being taught, what was the subject, but we remember where the letter was being placed. So now, this was the first thing that we covered in today, that is the power of visuals and what visuals actually are. So now I would like to describe the meeting for the today, like how we are going ahead with the meeting. It would be in 3 phases. The first one being the prepared speech session, where the prepared speaker will be allotted 5 to 7 minutes of the time and would give a speech according to the objectives and the project given by Toastmasters International. The second session being the table topic session, where the table topic master will give some impromptu questions and the speaker would be required to speak for about 1 to 2 minutes. Well, the third and the last session is general evaluation session, where the general evaluator will provide a whole review and will give a feedback for the whole meeting. So now I would like to invite on stage our general evaluator for the day to please give her introduce her meeting role and as well as her tag team.
Right. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mehak, for inviting me on stage. I am Toastmaster Deepti and I am the general evaluator for the day today. Now, since we're talking about visuals, this is the visual that I thought Okay, let me put the other one. This is the visual I thought would suit me best for today. With a magnifying glass, and I'm sure it describes my role perfectly well. So yes, dear Toastmasters, I'm going to evaluate every one of you, whether you're speaking, not speaking, you're attending attentively or not. That's my job for today. But this is a huge task, and I cannot really do it alone. So I have my team with me. And first up on my team is our grammarian, Toastmaster Ankan. So I'd like to invite him to the virtual podium to introduce himself and what he will be doing in the role of the grammarian today.
Hello, good evening to all. So I'll be playing role of a grammarian today, and my job would be to listen everybody first of all and to analyze what they are saying, how they are saying, any correct uses of English, any bad uses of English, and I'll be presenting my report at the end. And as a grammarian, my job is also to introduce word of the day and also to take note whether participants are using that word in their speech or not. Not only speech participant, but every other speaker who is speaking on the stage, whether in table topic session, on prepared speeches, they are expected and they are encouraged to use word of the day. So today's word of the day is ex gratia, which we often see as EG, and it's very easy and very common to find in English. What it actually means is done out of grace or done as a favor. So one example of it would be that ministry eventually agreed to grant fund an ex gratia permit to the marginalized section, to the marginal section. So it is not like what we often understand of EG as something out in the context or something like example. So EG is not example, but it is ex gratia, which basically means done out of favor or done out of grace. So every participant, every speaker would be encouraged to use this word in their speech and in their storytelling. That's all from me, from my, and I'll be presenting my report at the end. So that's all from my end as an grammarian. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ankan, for choosing a word which we've commonly misused all this while. I request you to also type it in the chat window so that we can see it. And one quick question. So if we want to use EG, so should we use it as ex gratia or should we use it as EG in a sentence?
Yeah, we could use it as EG as well, but it should be understood as ex gratia.
Okay,
So,
with the correct meaning,
yeah,
correct indenting meaning.
yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Like even example, what we write in English example, we do it as a favor for reader to understand it more clearly. So that
Yeah,
is how it should be
yeah,
understood.
but that's like holding the nose from this side.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right. Thank you so much, Uncle. Um, all right, my next role player is the R counter, and today I'm going to play the role of the R counter as well. As an R counter, I'm going to note the number of times we fumble when we speak. So we may end up using repeated words. We may end up using words like, basically, actually, which are a part of our, which have become a part of our regular language. And of course, I'm going to use or record words which break our speed, as in our R's and ums. So watch out for those. I'll give you a count towards the end in my reporting section, and this will help you smoothen out your speaking skills. It'll help you build fluency. Thank you. I hand over back to the general evaluator, Toastmaster Deepti. And yes, Toastmaster Deepti is also going to play the role of the timer today. As a timer, I'm going to be recording or noting the time for 3 areas. Number 1 is the prepared speech. We have one prepared speech today, which is for 5 to 7 minutes. I'm going to be recording for the evaluator, and I'm also going to record the time for the table topics section for each speaker. I will quickly show you how am I going to record the time. I will share my screen in just a minute. Let me set dummy timers. So as feedback last time around, we got this Toastmasters website that we can use for timing. Okay, I will share my screen here. And while the speaker speaks, any speaker, I will keep my screen shared. So I'll request the speaker to please pin my screen, or anyways, if this will be visible, then it will be great. So when we reach 5 minutes, it will be the green color. When we reach 6 minutes, the yellow, and red when we reach 7 minutes. This will be timed automatically, and the screen will keep flashing. Minutes and 30 seconds are over for the prepared speaker. Similarly, for an evaluator, once 2 minutes and 30 seconds are over, the screen. And for a table topic speaker, once 2 minutes and 30 seconds are over, right, so I'm back. I hope most of all the prepared speaker and the evaluator were able to see the shared screen and the timing session. No, Vaibhav, you're shaking your head.
Couldn't see, but got the idea.
Okay, great then. So the virtual podium is back to you, Toastmaster today, Toastmaster Mehak.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator, for explaining your role so well and for introducing your tag team. Now with this, first we are going to go ahead with our first segment, that is the prepared speech session. For this, today our speaker number 1 is Toastmaster Weber. Before inviting him on stage, I would first request the evaluator, Toastmaster Mohit, to please read out Toastmaster Weber's speech objectives.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mehak. I would like to just double check, Toastmaster Weber, you are giving your project 2 speech. Is that correct? Is that evaluation and feedback speech?
Yes.
Okay, and are you giving the speech for the first time, or is this to apply the feedback that you've already received?
So I have done an icebreaker round before this, and that's it.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Toastmaster Vaibhav. So Toastmaster Vaibhav would be giving his second speech today. The purpose of this project is to receive feedback from the audience members and the evaluator, and note that so that that feedback can be applied to the speech once it is given again. It would be a 5 to 7 minutes speech, and the purpose is for the member to demonstrate their ability to deliver an effective and respectful speech. That's all. I would pass it back to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Mehak.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mohit. Well, moving ahead, now I would like to invite on stage Toastmaster Weber to start with the speech. But first, we would like to have a small audio and video check. Is this your speaking audio, Toastmaster Weber?
Yes.
Okay, so can you please repeat? Today is a good day.
Today is a good day.
Yes, I think you are clearly audible and visible. Okay. Toastmaster Weber, how rationalization cost me Subway and crypto. How rationalization cost me Subway and crypto. Toastmaster Vaibhav.
Thank you, Mehak. So I have a question for all of you guys. Have you guys ever cheated in an exam where you just ask for the value of X and just arrive at the conclusion in your school times? So this was a situation with me when I opted in for engineering college, and as soon as I got into the engineering college, I eventually realized that I am not interested in studying anymore, because initial years it's just more of subjects which we don't signed up for. So there was this one physics exam where there are like 7 more people in front of me. My roll number is 68, so I'm just the second last student in the school, and all of the people in front of me were also dependent on one particular person who was really good at the subject. So what we used to do was ask him for the answer, and all of us used to find our ways to the answer. On this exam, that person actually got the answer wrong, and so did all of us. And we were called to the teacher's room for inspection what happened, and all of us, to our surprise, had really logical reasons to arrive at that answer, and we successfully cleared the mission to get out of the gate on that day using our rationalization. So my dear friends, fellow Toastmasters and guests, I am Vaibhav Thakur, and I have a propensity to overcomplicate things to a level which, let's say, if a NASA person were here, would be thinking of himself as a preschooler. I could complicate a simple task such as watering a plant to a level that I would research papers on it, draw 4x4 matrix, and arrive at a decision. And once I've arrived at a decision, even if it's incorrect, I rationalize it pretty badly. So one super impactful thing that happened to my life, which changed my life, was through this. I actually have a breakup with the restaurant called Subway. So I don't eat Subway at all. And the reason is due to multiple food poisonings. And one time there was a bee in my sub, which me and my friends were offered compensation by offering free food for 2-3 months, which I denied, and I don't ever eat Subway now. So like what happened was, my rationalization had led me to believe that this is not the brand for me. One more incidents that happened is on May 2021, where I used to be a crypto trader, and I arrived at that point where it was through 2-3 years of experiencing immense wealth and losing it all. It was multiple times, and then I had created a rule book where it was stringent rules for me what to do and what not to. On May 2021, I arrived at a losing trade, and I had all of the money invested onto it. And to save that losing trade, because I was complacent of all the winning efforts I had taken, I put all the money from my crypto job, all the savings, as well as I put a significant portion of the capital from the business onto it. And in the end, I lost all of the fortune, which I could have used for several good things, considering it was the COVID times. And this made me realize that we sometimes feel our perceptions make us take the best decisions. So perception basically is a takeaway which is repeated over the times in the past. But that is not always true. Now, what I concluded throughout these incidences is perception plus iteration is not equal to reality, but instead, we should base our decision making on some ideas and choices which are actually based on facts. For example, I use experiences from people who are successful in their life. Also, I base on facts from Vedic literature. So if you guys ever find me eating a Subway, you can remind me about this speech and talk to me about rationalization. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Weber, for sharing such a beautiful story. Now, I would request the members and the guests to please take up 1 minute and provide your feedback to Toastmaster Weber, either through personal chat or in the chat section below. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Now, moving ahead. Let's play a small game. So I have some of the emojis, and let me just share my screen. Okay, I hope my screen is visible. So I'm going to draw and pick up one emoji, or that is one of the emoji cards, we can say. You have to share a story that is being related to the power of the emotions related to that emoji or what is there in the card. Let's see. Okay, so now anyone who would like to give it a try and give a story about the emojis that has been shown in this picture. Anyone? I would want to see a raise of hands.
You want me to try?
Yes, sure, Anusha. Please go ahead.
So, well, I've been horrified time and again because the moment the bell started ringing, I realized the boat was about to take off. And when the boat was about to take off, I remembered my heartbreak. My love had just left on that boat. And here I was stranded on the shore with the bell ringing away to glory. I had to go to college and she was gone. What else could I do but give a thumbs down? And that's keeping it short and sweet. I hope it's not a table topic. So I've just done it very short.
Yes, thank you so much, Anusha, for sharing a beautiful story. It was really great that you take up such a nice example through this emoji. Well, now I will share the observation towards the end of this, but let's take one more up, and I would suggest anyone else who would like to take up this one. Anyone who would like to try? Okay, Divanshi has raised her hand. Please go ahead.
Right. So I loved the feeling when I walked into the house of my dreams. I was so happy that I wanted to make myself look beautiful. I applied nail paint. I dressed myself up. I put on the best shades and I was ready to go out for the day where I wanted to tell people and celebrate the victory of buying my new house. But to the fact that I had forgotten that it's a house that I've just bought, there were plants that were withering away. So I just put it on my task list to come back and water those plants so that they can bloom in the glory of my new house.
Thank you so much, Devanshu, for sharing a beautiful take on this emojis game. Well, let's take up one more and then we'll discuss about it. Okay, so this is the last one. Now, who would like to try? Okay, please go ahead.
Okay, so I packed my bags, I put all the essentials, and I go to the house number 1 of my fiance to check if he's at home. And turns out in his CP home, it's just dog, no one else. Then I go to his second home, I check, and he's there. I ask him, come, and we both trek. We both can trek to the mountain, and we both glided up to the. I don't know, it didn't go well. I'm sorry.
No, that was brilliant take again. Okay, so thank you so much, everyone. Now moving ahead with this one. Well, like the visuals have the power to evoke the emotions inside us as well. Just when you saw those pictures or saw those emojis in the series, you were able to evoke the emotions about yourself. And then you saw that what you could have done in that situation, and you particularly framed a story around it. So that's where the visuals have the power to have those emotions inside you, and they have a connection with the viewer as well. When you were able to create a story, we were also able to connect with that story because we were able to see those visuals. This is especially powerful in a storytelling as well. When emotions are used to enlarge upon our thoughts, our perspectives, they have the power to have a connection that we can create with the readers as well. So that is the power of visuals, like how you can add emotions to them as well. Whenever you are given a picture, you can add the emotion or the emotional twist in that picture so that it delivers in the heart of the readers and the audience as well. That's when the emojis have become so much powerful nowadays. Like whenever you're typing a message, instead of using thank you, we usually try to use any emoji to give a response to the other person. So the emojis have gained importance just because we are able to connect with the other person in a more descriptive way or in a more visual way that delivers the message of the heart as well. It's obviously very much pleasing to take at the other side, the person who is receiving those emojis. So with this, now I would like to move ahead to our second session, that is the table topic session. And for that, I would like to invite on stage our table topic master, Toastmaster Mohit, to please carry on with that session.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mehak. And that was a wonderful theme that you've chosen for today. And it's like fun all along so far. And I hope that can continue with the table topics segment of this meeting. Table topics, for those of you who are new or have joined for the first time, table topics is the segment where a topic is given to you and you have to speak on that topic for 1 to 2 minutes. From the top of your head, whatever comes to your mind, you have to prepare and give the speech there and then. It's considered to be the most fun element or segment of the meeting. So let me first invite one of the seasoned Toastmasters to come forward and take up a topic. And then we will cover the guests as well. You can just raise your hand if you would like to volunteer. Or I can select as well if, okay. Who would like to go? Just raise your hand if you're wanting to take up a topic. Okay, Ankan wants to take up the topic. Okay, Ankan, your topic is if you could permanently ban a emoji from general use, which one would you choose and why?
Okay. First of all, I don't agree with permanent ban of anything. But even if I have to ban a permanent emoji, then it would be an exaggerated smile where the face is too wide open and the smile is too deep, because we don't often smile that much in real life. And even while texting, when we use that emoji, yeah, that's sort of which Vaibhav has put right now in his screen. Even while texting, whenever we put that emoji, we just try to compensate the lack of text, the lack of communication, which we cannot put in words. Then we put that sort of emoji so that other person may not feel bad of what we are not communicating, or may just have a sense of idea of what we are feeling. So that exaggeration of laughter is what I would like to scale down, so that I will say that I will permanently ban as an emoji. So yeah, that's it. That's all from my end.
Thank you, Toastmaster Uncle. That was a wonderful take on the topic. And yeah, there are some of these emojis which some of our friends use so often, and we are like, no, we don't want that anymore. Toastmaster Deepthi, I couldn't see the timer moving forward. You may want to double check, or you may just want to fall back on the
Yeah, I think I will
usual.
use the chat. Okay, I will use
Sure.
it. Yeah, I'll use the chat. Or is it okay if I change my background? Whatever is comfortable to everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So in that
Works.
case, yeah, please pin me for this round.
Okay. And now I would like to invite anyone else to come forward for the next topic. Okay, I see Vaibhav's hand up. So I'm actually forgetting the name of the lady with you, Vaibhav. You are?
Mira wants to speak, yes.
Mira. Okay, hi, Mira. Sure. Mira, your topic is slightly different. We are moving away from visuals and giving you something different. Your topic is describe the last difficult goodbye you said. Describe the last difficult goodbye you said.
Last difficult goodbye. Okay. I had one. Yeah. So my heart is pumping. So I was 10-year-old or something, and so my chachu and my father, they have a long age gap. My chachu is 13 years younger to my papa, and as I was growing up, it was almost like I had my best friend around me. And times passed. I was 10 or 12 then, and my chachu married in quite in a haste, more or less. And the moment, like the few days after, he decided to go to New Zealand, and it was all done in such haste, like I couldn't even fathom what was going on. And I was so young and I loved him so much. So we had many funny incidents. He used to tell me, go bang your head to the wall. I used to be so fat. He used to call me elephant, go bang the head. And I used to act like the elephant. And I exactly remember I was sitting on his lap. We were playing that game, Chidiya Ur Ye Wo, and the tears were coming out of my eyes. Oh, my one of the most beloved best friends is going, and I think that was one of the most toughest goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, Mira. It's a beautiful story, and Yeah, there's times when we have to say goodbyes, and sometimes they are like really hard. All right. I'm sure you are still in touch with him though. Is he in India or outside?
No, no, he lives in New Zealand. Even my daddy's there. I have a little brother now. Speak days and nights.
Ah, nice, nice. Okay, great. And now we'll move into the next volunteer who would like to take up the next topic. Okay, Toastmaster Deepthi. Okay, Toastmaster Deepthi, would you like somebody to time you? I
Yes,
can time you. Okay, I
okay.
will time you.
Thank you.
Okay. Your topic is, if you could be someone else for a day, who would you be and why?
Okay, that's a tough one. If I could be someone else for a day, who would I be? Um, and it's tough not because um, it's tough because it's so difficult to choose from so many people I want to be. Um, but having said that, if I think deep down, I think I would like to be my 13-year-old self again. That is the person I want to be. Uh, Basically, because I want to live that life again. I want to experience those years of growing up, of probably mending the mistakes that I made back then, learning a little more than what I did, playing a little more than what I did, making more friends at that age, which was definitely easier. But because of our own inhibitions, we tend to close ourselves and do not step out as often as we can. Those are the little reasons why I would want to go back to my 13-year-old self. And I would love to see all of you in that age too. So thank you for giving me that topic, Toastmaster Mohit.
Thank
Stage is
you,
yours.
Toastmaster Deepthi. Yeah, that's a great take on the topic as well. Yeah, you could start with that now. Try and look at the mistake that you think you made and try and see what would you do differently if you had a chance to go back in time. Okay, moving ahead. Toast. Okay, we've got Devanshi. Devanshi, would you like to take up a topic?
Yes, sure. Toastmaster Mohit, I'll like to do it.
Okay, and we've not been introduced, I think. Are you already a Toastmaster or are you a
No,
guest?
this
Like
is
to
actually
introduce
my
yourself?
first session. I posted my inquiry on the Toastmaster site 2 days back, and I'm lucky enough to have been attending this first session. I was just told to attend as a guest, but I think this is so interesting. I've been wanting to participate, and I'm loving how everybody is sharing ideas, and I think this is a great platform. So I'll just give a quick introduction of myself in a minute. So my name is Devanshi. I reside in Panchkula. I'm currently working as a customer success manager in one of the IT companies here. And I got to know about Toastmasters from one of my colleagues who also wants to be a part of the same club. And since I'm actually becoming a trainer by profession now, we have an IT product and I've been giving trainings all over. So I thought this is a great platform for me to kind of step up that particular game and also work on my communication skills now that I'll be communicating with a lot of people. And it's very important to get your message clear and out. So I thought Toastmasters is a great platform that I should be a part of. And I think, yeah, now I'm here.
Wow. Devanshi, you're in the right place. And
I'm hoping. Absolutely.
and I would share a topic with you and
Sure.
you can speak on that. So your topic, Devanshi, is what is the biggest challenge you will face in the next 6 months and how are you preparing yourself for that?
Okay. So I think the next biggest challenge that I'm taking on for the next 6 months is working on my routine. I've been on a job that requires me to take up a mixed shift since we have clients that are based out of US. So, now that I'm transitioning into my new role, working on my routine is the biggest challenge, which means waking up early. I am not an early riser at all. So, I'm a night person. I stay awake up till 2, 3. That's like my own time. So, I think getting out of that comfort zone is going to be a big challenge, but I know it is very important for my health and my ongoing life. So, what I'm trying to do is like, how I'm preparing myself for that challenge is by making a routine. I'm writing on paper. I have 10 more alarms in my phone now than there used to be earlier. So that, even if I'm not able to wake up at the desired time, I at least wake up 30 minutes later. So I'm trying to do some small things that can help me change my routine. Probably, picking up some yoga sessions, picking up sessions like these that can actually force me to wake up in the morning so that I can get back into my 9 to 5 life, which I haven't lived for a long time now because I've been in a job like that. So yeah, and plus I have my mom. I think she's my biggest bodyguard. I've told her to wake me up no matter what. She can throw water on me. She can throw food on me. So, there'll be some motivation to wake up somehow. So that's what I'm doing. I'm starting small, but I feel, 6 months later, I'll be able to make changes to my routine. And yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Devanshi. That's a wonderful way to get yourself up for the upcoming challenge. And we wish you good luck, and we'd love to be, one reason why you can hopefully wake up early. If you join this club, for example, you'll have something to prepare, something to look forward
Yes,
to. So
absolutely.
we look forward to having you join us.
Right.
Great.
Totally.
Okay. Anybody else who'd like to go next? Okay, I see Vaibhav. Okay, Vaibhav.
Ankan. I nominate Ankan. Oh, she's already spoken, sorry. So you can pick one topic for yourself, Mohit.
Vaibhav wants to speak, so I'll let him speak.
Sure.
Okay, Toastmaster Vaibhav, your topic is, what experiences in life helped you grow the most? What experiences in life helped you grow the most?
Oh, so this is something I had been thinking about while I was writing the speech. So one of the experiences I had is I was badly studying to go abroad. I started with studying GMAT, and then I moved on to GRE, and then I got selected to one of the dream colleges I wanted to. And yes, life was perfect. I studied for it, and it took me 1.5 years just to do this. And so this happened, and I thought I would now happily go. I got the offer letters. What happened actually was my business took off, and I decided to leave everything, all of the preparations, and just stay in India. And this thing, I realized being through this journey 2 years, I thought all was wasted. But now I look back, I see I got so leveled up in research. I got so leveled up in learning things in a quick way, which I never could had. I could write so well that I started blogging. And also I learned that there are some micro urgencies we put up in our mind, which are like very much needed at that time, but we should be always be patient in the long run. So macro, we should always be patient, and in the micro, we should be impatient. So that's it.
Wow, wonderful, Vaibhav. Yeah, your learning never goes waste. You prepared for your college, and you're using all that learning in your own business. That's an even better place to be in. So fantastic take on the subject. Okay, anyone else who would like to take up one last topic? Who hasn't spoken? Mehek. Okay, Mehek wants to take up the last topic. Okay, Mehek. Your topic is, what are the 3 objects you can't live without? What are the 3 objects you just can't live without? Toastmaster Mehek.
Okay. Thank you so much, Cable Topic Master, for this brilliant topic. Well, there are particularly 3 objects that I think I can't live without. First of them being, I think that's for everyone, our mobile phone. No one can live without it. Well, especially in our generation, we definitely can't live without our mobile phone. The second one being the air conditioner. I think I particularly can't live without my AC. I particularly love that, and I have already started using it in the March season itself. And the third most important thing that I think I can't live without is, that's one I think I have to think about, but maybe the family. You can say that you can't live without them because they are something that you are supporting us. So I think the 2 of the things that I shared, they are basically the not necessities, but I want them in my life. But the last one, that is the family, I think that's something that everyone wants in their life, and that's something that you don't need, you don't want, but that's something you want, desire for, and that you love, that should adore you and should be with you every time that you are here presently. Speaking about the mobile phone and the air conditioner, they at a point of time would become secondary things, but the family would always be the first and the primary, that is called as the priority for you always and forever. Well, the similar, if I want to share, there was a incident which happened few months back. That was, we had a fire at our place. When we were going and moving downstairs, when we were rescuing from our house, there was 2 things I think that we had in our hands. That was, one was the mobile phone, the other one was that we have to save ourselves. But we somehow, I think at that time, we didn't realize that we need our phones, but we realized that we need our members and ourselves to be safe first. So that's my take on the topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mehek. Yeah, nothing else matters if you don't have your family around with you. So coincidentally, I'm watching this series called Happy Family, and then it says star conditions apply. I don't know if anyone of you has sort of seen that, but it's really hilarious web series which is come out recently. So you can watch that if you want to watch something wacky about the family. I think everybody's family is eccentric. The more I get to know about others' families, the more I realize that my family is like rather normal. But anyway, I would now hand it over back to our T-Mod of the day, Toastmaster Mehek. But I would like to thank all of you for this active participation in Table Topics and for making it so much fun today. So let's do a round of applause for all of us before I hand over to Mehek.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mohit, for a brilliant session. The topics were really great. Now moving ahead to the theme once again. So remember the time that I recently, just when I shared about the topic on Mink that you have to write upon. Well, now in addition to it, what if I have shared the picture, or what if I have shown you the picture of Mink? You could have elaborated more about on that in those 2 minutes. Now in those 2 minutes, maybe you were able to write 5 lines or 4 lines. What if I have shown you the picture, you could have doubled the amount of lines that you have written in those 2 minutes. Well, okay, so let's do this kind of an activity once more at a time. Now I'm going to share. This time I'm going to show you the picture as well. And then I would ask you to write about that itself. So, okay, so I'm going to share the picture in my hand. That is, this is a visual presentation. So I'm going to share it like this itself. So now you have to write anything about what do you think about this, what it is. It's a book. If you can read the title, don't know. You have again got 2 minutes. Let's take up 1 minute this time. You have got 1 minute. You have to write something about this. Okay, so 1 minute is up now. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, anyone who would like to read that one, the piece that you have written now? Well, this time I shared a difficult thing apart from the link, because now, as I'm showing you the picture or the visual presentation of the book and not just the image. So anyone who would like to share?
Okay, so can I?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, so title of the book was Please Read This Leaflet Carefully. The author calling his tree as leaflet could mean he is desperate to be read or he is humble enough to be read.
Well, absolutely great, Ankan. Thank you. Anyone else who would like to share something? Yes, please go ahead, Meera.
Although it's a book I'm seeing for the first time, but it felt so familiar. It reminded me of the practical files we used to decorate in our schools. And it made me relish how craft can really ease our mind and bring so much fun and color into our life.
Yes, it could be one of a great description of this book. Thank you. Anyone else? Let's take up one more.
I think I can go.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm taking the call from my phone, so I couldn't read the cover, what the title or the name of the author. But yellow seemed to be a very nice color for a book cover. And the thoughts that ran across my mind was that it's a thick book, hardcover, must be costly. And then it'll also take some time to read it. So it'll be a good bedtime book. So,
Okay.
thank you.
So thank you so much, Toastmaster Deepti, and everyone for sharing your perspective on this visual storytelling technique. Well, the idea was like initially when I shared just the topic, then you were able to write, think about it, you all were able to write a little less lines and those 2 minutes. Now, when I gave you 1 minute, you were able to give a brief information about this book. So this is the another aspect of the visual storytelling, like the use of a narrative structure. When you see the visuals in front of yourself, you're able to give a descriptive view about what you have just seen or what you have just read about it. So good visual, it just not contains something that is just haphazardly being picturized. It contains a beginning, it has a middle, and it has an end, and a well-defined plot and structure. So whenever you will see a visual, it will have everything in it. You have to interpret and give your perspective on that thing itself. That should hold the audience attention as well. I think the visuals are used in many different forms nowadays. If you have seen the different hoardings and the marketing techniques being used by different philosophers and different brands as well, how are they playing with the minds the kind of visuals that they use in their billboards. That's the way and the technique that have been shown. For example, recently there was a marketing ideology being shared by Blinkit and Zomato as well, that reads about how that doodh mangoge, doodh denge, and how they have pictured that presentation in it. That shows that how visuals have more impact, and with the use of those catchy titles or captions, they also attract the people to buy and purchase those products. Well, if not, if you have seen the packet of chips of Uncle Chips as well, on the back of their chips, they have presented a visual description, and they've also made the pictures as well. Just a small picture that shows like why you should eat Uncle Chips and something like this. So it shows that marketing has also understood the importance of visuals and how they are incorporating it in their daily lives. Well, when you witness a pamphlet or any other thing of maybe a pamphlet of chips or any other thing, you see that how they have used the idea of visual storytelling so that they could share the interesting thing about what their product is yet to deliver to you. And our mind also reads the things that have been shared by them. That is the visual presentation of of their product or of their description. When you see TV, the television or the movies, the visual description of the products that they have been trying to show affects our mind more effectively rather than when we just read about it. For example, if you go ahead and purchase a phone, when you read about its RAM, its memory, it has this pixels camera, what do you kind to recollect? You didn't recollect much about of the phone until and unless you see its body, you have a feel about it, you touch it, you operate it. That's the difference between the textual information and how visuals present an ideology in our minds. So with this, now I would like to invite on stage our general evaluator for the day to take ahead the session. Toastmaster Deepti.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mehek. Well, it's time for evaluations now. So first up, I'd like to invite our evaluator, Toastmaster Mohit, to please come on the virtual podium and share his evaluation for Toastmaster Vaibhav's speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster Deepti. So what a wonderful speech, Toastmaster Vaibhav. I completely loved the way you shared your experiences, and we got to know a lot about you through your story. What stood out for me were a few things. First of all, the title itself was such a catchy one. When you said how rationalization cost me a subway and crypto, that itself tells the audience that we want to hear what the person has to say. So a very good style of selecting the title of your speech. Secondly, the word usage. You use some really good words like propensity to overcomplicate things. So propensity as a word. You used complacency. So some of these words are very good, rich in vocabulary, and they express a lot more through the use of a single word. So you have a great sense of word usage. The other most important thing is about your speech is your humor. You've sprinkled humor all over the place. And I was all smiles from the beginning till the very end of your speech. You could, for example, when you gave the example of everybody relying on that one person in the test. Can you still hear me? Yep. Okay. So that itself was hilarious because we could all relate with that, and it was expressed in a way which was quite believable. So apart from all these good things, in order for you to take your speech to another level, I have a few recommendations for you. I noticed that there were a few ahs and ums in your speech. So instead of using the ahs and ums, if you just pause, that would show confidence to the listeners So instead of using ahs and ums, just put it as a pause to begin with, and then speak your next sentence. And secondly, there were a couple of words where the incorrect words were used. For example, you used incidents, where I think it should be incident when you're sharing a particular story of an experience that happened. The other thing I would recommend is to elaborate a little bit more on your key elements of the story. So the subway story, for example, I could understand that there was something about the subway that ticked you off the wrong way, but I couldn't completely understand the story of the subway, which was an essential and one of the key parts of your overall speech. So you could elaborate that a little bit more so that the audience will understand. So overall, I think it was a great speech. There was full of humor, there was a very catchy title, and very good usage of words. We could know so much more about you through the choice of your words and through your storytelling, and the different nuances of a character came out from your speech. You also used a date, which you said May 2021, which makes the story more believable. Only if you would take some of these considerations in next time around when you are speaking, try and use pause instead of ahs and ums. Try to elaborate a little bit more so that the audience understands the story better. And could be a bit careful about the choice of words. I think with that, your speech would go to another level altogether. So I would be very keen to hear your next speech. Thank you, Toastmaster Weber, and I'll pass it back to our general evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mohit. Next up, Toastmaster Ankan, would you like to present the grammarian's report?
Yeah, hello. Yeah, so my grammarian report is ready, and it was my duty to listen to any good uses of English or any bad uses of English. And Vaibhav has used some good words, like Toastmaster Mohit also mentioned: propensity, which means inclination or natural intensity; iteration, which means repetition of process or utterances; and he has also said perception plus iteration cannot equal reality, which I think is could be a good proverb as well. And in some bad uses, I heard I can get back to my life, whereas it could be I can go back to my life. So that's all about good and bad uses. A word of the day was ex gratia, which nobody has used as for now. So that's all from my report as a grammarian. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ankan. Maybe you can encourage participants to use ex gratia now. So anybody can volunteer.
Yeah, so anybody who would like to use ex gratia in their sentence or storytelling? Anybody who would like to volunteer among guests?
I see Meera wants to speak, right? Meera, go ahead.
Well, I was just pondering, nothing on my head yet.
Yeah, you can speak ex gratia.
Yeah, I think we are all speaking ex gratia. Yeah, I wouldn't. I think it's been a number of times when Toastmaster Ankan has been grammarian, and we've disappointed him so many times by not using the words that he shares for the day. So ex gratia today. So then way our love for Toastmaster Ankan.
Yes.
Good one. Thank you, Toastmaster Mohit, and thank you, Toastmaster Ankan, for keeping up with the grace on making sure that the other Toastmasters use the word. Thank you. With that, I come to my timers report. So let me start my timing report with the speaker for today. Toastmaster Weber, in his prepared speech, spoke for 5 minutes and 41 seconds, which is well within the time limit. But I also urge that you use maximum speaking time or maximum stage time. So you can actually speak up to the 7th minute. 30 seconds are for winding up. So that ways you will be able to use your full stage time effectively. That's the 1 point suggestion that I have for you, Toastmaster Weber. Moving on to Toastmaster Mohit, evaluator. I think Toastmaster Mohit, you overshot time today by 30 seconds and you completed your evaluation in 4 minutes and 1 second. So for you, the feedback would be the other way around. Try the moment you see a red card, try and bring in conclusion and end your evaluation. So good luck on that for the next time. The table topic speakers, Toastmaster Ankan spoke for 1 minute 9 seconds. Meera spoke for 1 minute 32 seconds. Devanshi spoke for 1 minute 27 seconds. Weber spoke for 1 minute 51 seconds. Good use of time there. And Mehik spoke for 2 minutes and 16 seconds. What was my timing for table topics, Toastmaster Mohit?
That was 1 minute and 40 seconds.
40
And I'm not making it up.
I believe you. Right. So here again, the tip is that since we are given 1 to 2 minutes to speak on the table topics with 30 seconds of grace on the other side or the upper side, which means we can speak up to 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So let's try and use the timing to its fullest. So I appreciate Toastmaster Mehik for speaking for around 2 minutes, 16 seconds. The rest of us have feedback to take home so that we can speak longer. So deep dive into the topic so that you can speak longer. With that, my timer's report comes to an end. And now I don the hat of my R-counter reporter. So as an R-counter, I feel that a lot of us fumbled today, including myself. And if we did not use R's and ums multiple times, we stretched the word. And we, for example, when we were not able to speak fluently, what we did was that we stretched the last word and we said, we added the sound to it. Is that, this is how we stretched our words. But that breaks the fluency. And the idea of having an R-counter is to help you track where each of us fumbles, so that the audience doesn't get disengaged or disinterested in what we are speaking. For example, if I take a lot of long pauses and I use a lot of R's and ums, you would probably unconsciously look away. Your mind will start pacing at other thoughts. And that is not what we want, because we're speaking to an audience. So that's the reason why we should be mindful of our R's and ums. Individual report, I can probably send over the chat so that we can be mindful of the counter the next time we see it. So thank you. With that, I move back the baton to the general evaluator. And then I call upon our active listener, whom I missed introducing at first. Toastmaster Ankan is our active listener. And Ankan, I request you to please also describe your role and then go ahead and perform it.
Okay, so as a job of active listener, my duty is to listen everybody and then to ask question what they have heard and what they have taken out from this meeting. And so from where should I begin? Okay. So what was the first thing that Toastmaster Mehak asked us to write about? Yeah, like anybody of you, like Meera, you can say, or Toastmaster Mohit.
A mint.
Yeah. And so what does Toastmaster Dipti write about the mint? A mint.
Toastmaster. Is that a question for me or for everybody, right?
But you volunteered.
Oh, for me. Oh. Okay. Toastmaster Deepthi. I'll have to pass.
Yeah, Meg, you can.
Her favorite Ming. She didn't mention the name, but she mentioned that the flavors of the Ming that she loves.
Yeah. And so,
Is that right answer, Ankan?
yeah, she also mentioned about carrying a pack of mint, if I'm right. Yeah. So that's what was in my mind. And then I'm forgetting the name of Toastmaster who was in table topics. If anybody could remind me.
Sorry?
What
Name of name of the speaker who was in table topic session.
you want names of all of them?
No. Like the one lady who was there.
So this is the
Oh,
question.
Dipisha.
Devanshi.
Okay,
Divisha.
take it as a question.
Devanshi.
Yeah, Devanshi. Yeah. So her topic was to say something about challenges which she faced and what challenge she talked about. Okay, so Meera should get a chance now. You have already spoken.
She spoke about her challenge to come into a routine and how she would like to start with the yoga and other things that would help her along the side.
Yeah. And which emoji I talked about to ban permanently? Anybody else? And what reason I gave to ban it? So now both question have to be answered. The emoji which I talked about to ban permanently and the reason which I gave to ban. Okay, Meera, you can. Nobody else is willing.
Well, you spoke about the one which has white smile, and the reason was nobody actually laughs like that. So it's so surreal, and it should be banned and taken out.
Yeah. So that's all from my active listener part of today. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
Fun.
Toastmaster Ankan. You ensured that we actually wore our active listening skills. And the reason that I think, or the chance that I forgot to introduce you at the beginning, gave a real stats of how actively were each of us listening. So thank you for that. And now let's come to my general evaluation report. So here I feel like a headmaster giving out or reading out my report for everybody in the room. So let's start with the Sergeant at Arms. The Sergeant at Arms stated the Toastmasters mission, the club mission correctly. And he ensured that he spoke the ground rules and let us know about them. What stood out for me today as in his role was that Toastmaster Mohit spoke about a fellow Toastmaster speech and how or what did he learn from it. So sharing what you learn from a fellow's or a peer's speech or anecdote or taking a learning from their learning, I think that is the beauty of Toastmasters. You anyways get distilled down information, and when you distill it further, you get experiences and learnings for life. So thank you for sharing what you learned from a different speech, Toastmaster Mohit. And you made good use of time that is allocated to the Sergeant at Arms. So congratulations to you on that. Moving on to our president, I think her storytelling tip was amazing today. And what I especially loved about it was that so as storytellers and a Toastmasters club of storytellers, we don't only focus on our speaking or our verbal skills, we also focus on our writing skills. And a lot of times when we sit down to write, we face what we call as a writer's block. So I think our president's tip today is an easy technique to help us remove that writer's block. So thank you, Toastmaster Mehak, for sharing that tip with us. Apart from that, she warmly welcomed our guest today, which is really nice. And we had not one, but two in the same window. So we'd like to get an introduction of her towards the end of the meeting. But a bubble of joy is what I can see in Meera, our guest in the window. Thank you. Moving on to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Mehak. I think it's a very beautiful theme that you've picked up about visuals. We use words a lot, but using visuals and using them appropriately or understanding how to use visuals is something new. So bringing that to a Toastmasters theme, I think you've made us wear our visual hats, is what I'll say. And I'm sure you've made each of us conscious of using or looking at visual storytelling as a powerful tool. What I will take back from the meeting today is whenever I deliver my speech next time, I will try and paint a story or try and paint an image in front of my audience so that they're able to visualize what I'm talking about. So that is my takeaway today. So thank you for the beautiful thread that you actually weaved throughout the meeting. Then we move on to our my team. Toastmaster Uncle, as an active listener, you were wonderful. And you were so genuine that I could not make out whether you had actually forgotten guest Divyanshi's name or was that a question. So that is the genuinity with which you presented your role. Kudos to you for that. And in your role as a grammarian, I think I will say I'll give you a pat on the back for taking it up at the 11th hour and doing a fab job of it. The only takeaway that I would give you as a general evaluator is that choose a word which is, you generally try to use a word which is aligned with the theme of the day so that people can speak about it and use it in their table topics. So that is the little tip that I have for you as a grammarian. Otherwise, I think you noted down the words that were wonderfully used, and you also made sure that you caught the not so great usages of grammar, and you did not speak out the names of people who fumbled at grammar usages, incorrect grammar usages. I think that's the beauty. You always praise in public and let people know in private. So kudos to you on that. As an R counter, I'm not a good demo person. I mean, I'm fumbling and I'm making I'm increasing my R counter constantly, exponentially. So I need to get better at that. And I also should have presented the report visually because we're talking about a visual theme. That would make each of us look at our counter so that we can take note of it and then probably use it like a chart and see how well or how badly are we doing in the subsequent meetings. So that's feedback for me. As a timer, I think I did an okay job. I tried to thank you for that thumbs up, Meera. So that is about the supporting or the auxiliary role plays. I cannot miss the table topics master. I think you did a fabulous job at the choice of your topics. The topics, each of the topics made us think and look back or deep down inside in those 2 minutes that we had. And a lot of times we don't have to think much for speaking out in a table topic session. So whether it is about speaking about a loving relationship, which was ultimately, which was distant, or it was about waking up early, changing your routine and ensuring that you wake up early, or if what was about staying, making a decision to stay in India or go abroad. I think these are things sometimes which we don't realize, but when we speak impromptu or when we are put on a spot and we speak about them, they come to the fore. And this is one subtle advantage. So beautiful choice of topics for each of us, table topic master Mohit. Thank you. And with that, I hand over the stage back to our president. First, the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Mehak.
Thank you so much, General Devalekar, for such a great report. Now, moving ahead, to conclude with the topic, I would give you the names of the 3 books that you can read that actually have the illustrations that you could read upon, and that you can see that how they impact you as they have been created and incorporating the visuals in them. The first one, you can write them. The first one is the Boys Who Fought. It's by Devdutt Patnaik. And it's an amazing book that you can read ahead because it contains the comic type of scripts, and in a very innovative way and in a very different perspective, he has shared about the Mahabharata. The second one is the Sita by the same author, and it also contains the comics and the story that has been shared in from the perspective of Sita. And the third one, that's a very has been a bestseller nowadays. That's The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. Well, this one is a book which is written by Charlie McKinley, I think. And this book has become popular recently itself because it contains the illustrations, and it is a story about love and acceptance. So these are the 3 books that I would recommend for all of you to read, because these 3 contains the illustrations and how they have have created an impact, and how they have demonstrated the visual impact of the stories. Well, so this was the theme for the meeting today. Now moving ahead to the role of the president. First, I would like to launch the polls now, as we are coming to the end of the meeting. So first, I would like to raise the polls for the best table topic speaker. But before that, I would need to paste the names of the table topic speakers in the chat. Timer.
I
you
can,
have the
yeah,
names?
I can do that. I can do that.
Until that, we can have the voting for the best auxiliary role player. So for that, I have shared the screen. Grammarian was Toastmaster Ankan. Active listener was again Toastmaster Ankan. Timer, Toastmaster Deepti, and our counter, Toastmaster Deepti. So I would request every one of you to vote, and co-hosts can send their votes to me personally through the chat. Okay, so I've got the 3 votes. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm ending the poll now. Okay. Now I'm launching the poll for the best role player. Teamwork, it is Toastmaster Mehak, Table Topic Master Toastmaster Mohit, and General Evaluator Toastmaster Deepti. Okay, so I'm waiting for 2 more votes. Okay, all right. Thank you, everyone. I am ending the poll now. Now for the best table topic speaker. Okay, so the names of the table topic speaker have been shared in the chat. First one being Toastmaster Ankan. Second is Toastmaster Meera, Toastmaster Deepti, Toastmaster Divyanshi, Toastmaster Vaibhav, and Toastmaster Meher.
So where in the chat have they been shared? Can't see that.
Okay, just a second. I just pasted.
Sorry, I think I pasted it directly to Meher.
Okay, so you have the names in the chat now. Okay, I'm waiting for one more vote now. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. And co-hosts can send their votes personally to me. Thank you. I'm ending the poll now. All right, I have the name for the best role play speakers and table topic speakers as well. So moving ahead, first let's take the feedback from Toastmaster Vaibhav and Toastmaster Meera to please share your feedback about the meeting.
So this was a very, very good meeting. I loved how well organized it was and how much details are given to each of the segments. I've never seen an online meeting this good. So kudos to the club and all of the people around.
Thank you so much, Vaibhav. Now I would request Meera to please give feedback.
I feel mutually for what he has said, but there are a few things I really wish to add on. So it really strengthened my faith. Like I had a perception that small organizations and the close-knit groups are way better than the big organization or big companies, or like, I hope you got the idea. I had that strong faith because the integration is very strong and but the only downside to it could be the things could go a bit unprofessional, and there could be a lot of chits and chats, and because there are not a lot of authorities to rule upon. But that was the thing that you all guys maintained throughout the meet, and I would say it was way more professional than the regular Toastmasters that we go and actually visit offline. So really kudos to that, and thank you for strengthening my faith that like small knitted groups are way better than the bigger cohorts. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Meera, for sharing positive feedback with us. Now, as we are done with the guest feedback, now I would request, okay, I think first we can take a photograph, a screenshot maybe. Then we will announce the winners. Okay, so you can share the emoji of the heart. I'm going to take the picture. Okay, I've taken one. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. I've taken the picture. Okay, now moving ahead to the winners. Okay, so whom do you think would have been the winner for the best table topic speaker? The list has already been there in the chat. If any one of you would want to guess the best speaker.
Vaibhav.
Mehak or Deepti?
Deepti or Mehak, yeah.
Okay,
No, I
so
think
the
it will be
answer
one of
is
the two.
it is Toastmaster Deepti. Congratulations. A round of applause for her.
Thank you.
Now, moving to the best auxiliary role player. Any guesses? Well, all the auxiliary role player, there were two auxiliary role players actually. It was Toastmaster Deepti was performing the role of a timer and our counter, and Toastmaster Ankan, who was performing the role as grammarian and active listener. So there's one vote which has made all the difference. Okay. Yes, it is Toastmaster Ankan. Congratulations, Toastmaster Ankan. Round of an applause for you.
Thank you.
And it's in his role as a grammarian or active listener?
For the role of grammarian.
Yay. Good.
Thank you.
Okay, now for the best role player. There were 3 role players: Toastmaster of the Day, Table Topic Master, and General Evaluator. Any
Mehak
guesses?
Kapoor.
Well guessed. Thank you so much. I've got the honors to win. And the best speaker and the best evaluator. Yes,
Any
the best
guesses?
speaker.
No points for guessing that.
Well, yes, it's best speaker goes to Toastmaster Vaibhav and best evaluator to Toastmaster Mohit. Round of an applause for both of you. Congratulations.
Thank you. It was really
Thank you
tough
so
to win
much.
this one.
Okay, so thank you so much everyone for a wonderful meeting today. Bye. Now I would request if you have any questions to please stay back, and we are now stopping the recording for a chit chat session.